What happened after was out of my control.
Jim and Andy, The Great Beyond, a new Netflix documentary, reveals the behind-the-scenes drama created on the set of Man on the Moon by Jim Carrey while he was in character as Andy Kaufman. Welcome back to What's Trending, I'm Shira Lazar. Be sure to like this video and subscribe for more celebrity news. Man on the Moon was shot over 20 years ago in 1999. In that year, a Jim Carrey fan site reported about how Andy Kaufman's real-life girlfriend, Lynn Margulies, filmed over 200 hours of footage of Jim in character as Andy. Not surprisingly, Carrey was in character during the 4-month-long shoot. The site says the footage, quote, so fascinated the movie's executives that they wanted to turn it into a documentary in the vein of Hearts of Darkness, which chronicled the making of Apocalypse Now. The footage, however, made Jim Carrey seem like a terror on set.
Andy, you have to give me a chance to make a movie.
I don't need to make a movie. I don't need to make a movie.
Reportedly, Carrey drove on the lot each day as either Kaufman or his alter ego, the irritating lounge singer Tony Clifton. Carrey would also rub salami and Limburger cheese on his body while in character as Tony Clifton. He also would prank Danny DeVito by putting his car up on blocks, letting cockroaches loose in DeVito's trailer, and once sealing shut his trailer door. Universal Studios decided to keep the footage from the public and from the DVD release. And even after the movie was done, Carrey continued to pull Andy Kaufman-style stunts. During a promotional event for Man on the Moon, Tony Clifton interrupted the junket, saying that Drew Carey made a movie that was a bunch of junk. Carrey dumped a picture of Ice-T on Clifton's head. For decades, stories about the footage were just rumors. So then how did this documentary finally get made? After many years of asking, director Spike Jonze had Jim Carrey show him some of the footage shot by Margulies. For years, the behind-the-scenes footage was in the possession of Andy's old writing partner, Bob Zmuda. Jonze and documentarian Chris Smith worked with the footage for about 8 months before asking Carrey to sit down for an interview. The documentary takes a look at Jim Carrey's career, showing how he was training to be Andy Kaufman pretty much his entire life. But the film also shows the mental strain it put on Carrey himself. It seems like this identity crisis stuck with Jim Carrey long after the film. Jim and Andy premiered at the 2017 Toronto International Film Festival, where Carrey spoke frankly about losing his sense of self. Carrey wanted to do what he thought Andy Kaufman would do and push it as far as possible. But you might not realize this, but working with the real Andy Kaufman was actually much more professional. Sam Simon was a writer and showrunner on the sitcom Taxi, which propelled Andy Kaufman to national fame. He said this in his interview with Marc Maron on WTF.
Andy was completely professional. He told you Tony Clifton was him.
Danny DeVito, who was a producer and co-star on Man on the Moon, also worked with Andy Kaufman on the sitcom Taxi.
He said, well, Andy does this character where you don't own up that it's him, but it's really him, and we all know it. But he won't cop to the fact that it's him.
So why did Carrey push himself in the entire production to a breaking point? Chris Smith said he really tried to do justice to Andy's legacy, and I think he really felt that this was the right way to do that. When Jim Carrey says he wants to do something, who is going to stop him? These days, I'm more fascinated with Jim Carrey than ever before. Between the short documentary about his arts, to that viral interview he did with E! Entertainment at New York Fashion Week.
On the good foot. Ha!
He's definitely pushing the boundaries of how we look at artists and actors. He's really opening up conversations with media and the public that might seem weird but are actually forcing us all to look at our own identities, and I think that's pretty cool. And goes against the grain for how celebrities talk about everything. I think we're so used to talent and actors kind of being so superficial and like soundbite-y in all of the interviews, and when we get someone like this who just like says it like it is and says something that we haven't heard before, it's strange and it's scary. It seems that finally Jim Carrey is truly taking off his mask. So through this rant, all in all, I'm really excited to see this documentary, okay? So what do you think about the documentary? Are you gonna check it out? Let us know in the comments below. Be sure to like and subscribe for more of What's Trending.